just because I was getting some background noise in there.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so right now we have 21 people joined, and I'm assuming that we're going to have several more from this
Mm-hmm.
point on. I have a couple of messages already from folks saying good morning. So good morning, Audrey. Good morning, John. Um, Today's speaker we have is Kitty Connor with Architectural Designs. They're selling house plans online and here to share with us how that's done from their point of view. We've already had Sam Morgan and Dan Sater on showing us. At this point, it's time for the people who actually sell them online to get to help us understand what their point of view is in this. So I'm going to hand this over to Kitty, and we're going to start now. This is being recorded, so everybody, uh, for you, if you need to get off, that's fine. You can watch it later. We'll have it back up on the group page. So go ahead, Kitty.
All right. Well, good morning, one and all. Thank you for wherever you are, whatever time zone. Some of you are pre-coffee stage, probably. Like Dennis, I grabbed mine and chugged it before this call. So I'm just going to run through a PowerPoint that I compiled last year to speak at an AIBD conference in Fort Worth. And other than updating some data relative to social media, it's still current, which was welcome to me that I didn't have to reconstruct it. So here we go. So basically, I'm just going to give you an overview of who we are, what we do, what it takes, and what we see from the market. So I'm the COO, and I spend my day onboarding new designers, doing a lot of builder outreach since they are truly um, probably the most important buying group. And I work with John Davis, who's the owner and CEO, and a group of other very talented, dedicated staff. So let's see here. So we are family owned. John is a third generation, you would say, publisher, although I don't consider us a publisher any longer. Last magazine was put to print and to bed in the crash. And so we've been a full-on website ever since. The one you're looking at, the skeleton of it was redone in 2016 when we realized that we needed to be mobile responsive. So what you look at, the bones are the same, but we are constantly prodding it, pulling it, investing in it. It is a weekly occurrence. And so I'd say that's a differentiator for us in the market. We invest heavily every month and to make our lives easier from a customer perspective and also to make the experience for the customer as engaging as we can. Still holding strong with 31,000 plans. I consider us curatorial in nature. We remove plans almost daily, sort of the irrelevant plans at the bottom, and that is to elevate everyone who is relevant in our market who constantly sends in new plans because what happens is we've got an algorithm humming in the background. And wouldn't it be sad to enter your criteria as a consumer and be presented with monochromatic drawings from 2007? So we are constantly churning and growing as we add new plans. We actually turned off a portfolio earlier this week. It only was comprised of 25 plans, but 25 plans that really were not representative of where we are in the market. Still holding strong. We are the leaders in social media. Again, we're probably, I don't think we'll hit 1 million on Pinterest by the end of the year, but pretty close to it. Instagram closing in probably on 635,000 now. We monitor all that. Facebook, 185,000. Those platforms are drivers of traffic, drivers of interest, ways to engage with our community, Instagram especially. And we leverage them daily. We have a dedicated social media manager. So if you do this already with us, then you know that, and you follow us, then you're aware of that. That engagement is super powerful and helps to convert what I call prospects to paying customers. So what are we looking for in a new designer? What do you need to give us or the customer in terms of a stock plan set? What do you need to give us asset-wise for marketing your plans? How do you get us what you have? Do you retain the rights to your plans? Old plans, are they okay for us to market for you? And are you going to be successful are the topics that I'm going to cover. What are we looking for? So first and foremost, we're looking for relevant designers who are busy in the industry still, who understand the importance of presentation, who give us high quality 3D renderings. Photorealism is where it's at in terms of renderings. Absent renderings, or absent photos, I should say, renderings are really the way to hook the consumer. We are picky, but for you, we're picky. So we don't throw anything onto the website that hasn't first been visited by Photoshop. We have a content team who looks at everything, who crops, who heightens color, who if photos come in and there is dirt on the where should be grass, we lay sod. We add clouds. We do a lot, again, that curatorial experience. I don't use that. I don't throw that word around because we really perceive ourselves as curators. Because again, the rendering or the photo is what is going to hook the consumer. Follow trends. You know, you're in the marketplace. You know what you're drawing for your local community. So that is pretty much probably indicative of what our country is looking to build as well. Farmhouse, yes, still a mainstay. I think it's iconic to being an American, but farmhouse with a twist, barn dominium style is very popular. And also this transitional, what we classify as New American, I would call it traditional, but traditional now has sort of a negative connotation. So traditional is transitional. So traditional with sort of a contemporary, more modern look is what we're seeing as well. Again, variety. Think of it as a scattergram. You want to be relevant and visible in as many style categories as you can, in as many square footages. Yes, 1,800 to 2,500 might be the bread and butter in terms of square footage ranges that sell most frequently, but that is not to say that we don't sell 500 square foot cottages or 5,000 square foot home plans. So a little of this and a little of that is really what I would recommend in every conceivable style that's authentic to you. Just again, can't stress enough, high quality graphics. Floor plans that are readable and understandable. These colors that are here on this floor plan are added by us. We did that, gosh, I'd say we introduced that. I'm here, I've just started year 12. We've been doing that before I started. And it's intentional, and it's to give the consumer, who in most cases has never even explored floor plans, a better understanding of living space versus non-living space. We pop in red. to delineate where a fireplace is, trying to make it easier on the eye and more understandable as a consumer. Let's see here again, style variety, follow style trends, pay attention to what your peers are doing. You're all a part of the social media group, and I think that's super important. If you're members of your professional organization, super important as well. Stay engaged and aware. What stock plans should have? So as the person who vets most new designers, I would tell you that I've seen a wide range. And those sort of builder-friendly packages where the details are scanty are not acceptable. Maybe 10, 15 years ago, 5-page plan, 6-page plan, those could work. But now, no way. Consumers are looking at, it's funny because consumers aren't the ones in most cases building the homes, yet I think that they many times have done homework and understand what a set of working drawings should include. And so they've become more savvy, and consequently, we're more demanding of our designers as to what they should include. So of course, fully dimensioned floor plans, that's easy. A foundation plan. If anyone on this call is hailing from the Lone Star State, I understand that you do not do foundation plans, but you're going to have to in some way, because we can't offer a plan set that doesn't have a foundation. I know the engineer is the one responsible for that in Texas, but you're going to have to create some sort of generic version of it in order to complete the set. Window door schedules. Some plans bake that information on. Some of you create dedicated schedules. Either way is fine. Cross sections, a definite, a prerequisite. Wall sections, again, another important element. Electrical layout. The majority of our designers do provide it. There are a very select handful that don't. We work with some Canadians, and some don't for some reason. So it's okay not to, as long as we know that, and we put that on the website. Roof and floor framing system. Definitely have to have a roof view showing peaks and valleys. Framing plans at some level would be a nice have, but again, absent framing, need to know beam locations, joist orientation with typical sizing and spacing. Also so the direction of the floor and ceiling joists, and then a IRC span chart as a supplemental. Definitely minimum IRC 2018. Don't need to fuss with kitchen and bath elevations. Some include them, but in today's world, I think most consumers work with a kitchen and bath designer. So I think it's definitely, it's a nice to have, but certainly not a necessity. What we need from you. Again, high quality renderings, photography, certainly the rear elevation, if not the sides. There's definitely been evolution in this industry since I came on board, where designers were very reluctant to distribute the sides. And now it's become more commonplace and certainly appreciated by the market and by us, because imagine trying to visualize a home. You want to see all sides. It's very difficult to sort of superimpose yourself into a floor plan. So the more visuals we can provide, the better off the consumer is to make an educated decision. So you'll need to give us the assets, the renderings, your marketing floor plan. We have a dedicated designer portal that I think is in year 3. Before, all of the plans would come to us in various ways, some by email, some through Hightail, some through Dropbox, and it really was messy. So we decided to invest in a portal system, creating sort of a centralized system for us. We are notified when a designer is uploading. You will then add the data yourself. If you realize you need to change something, there's no issue. We're notified of what you've changed. Everyone who uses it has been so happy, and I can't say enough good things about it. Plan pricing, if this is your first rodeo, we can absolutely help you. We're constantly creating recommendation tables, sending them off. I did that a couple of times this week, and we're happy to do that. Here's just a sampling of some of the renderings that are on the website. I'm sure every single one of them has been touched by us. Again, you know, we add clouds, we change color, cropping, bringing the image closer to the viewer, which helps to foster engagement. I think I need a sip of coffee. I'm losing my voice, excuse me. That is better. Okay, so photos. We get a lot of photos from designers, but we also get a tremendous amount of content from builders and enthusiastic customers. So some of these, like this one up top here, is from a builder. One in the middle here from a builder. The rest are from our pool of designers. So again, if you're considering working with us and you have photos, bring them on. The only hitch with us is if they're pro photos, we'll need you to have our release signed, because if we use them without the photographer's permission, that is a copyright violation. Here are a couple samples of marketing floor plans that we consider just very, very well done. You'll see on the one on the right, the amount of data that is baked on, again, with the consumer in mind, be it a regular homeowner or a builder. We ask that the ceiling heights are added to the floor plan. It makes for a comprehensive digestion, so to speak, of a floor plan. Rather have it on the floor plan than have to scroll to the data section on the website. And this one on the right is just chock-a-block full. And it not only creates a comprehensive presentation, it minimizes the need for a consumer to stop, try to find how to contact architectural design and ask for that data point. We want to give them as much as we can to minimize the questions, although truthfully, I perceive questions as an opportunity for engagement. And so and it's a measure of interest as well. So, but you don't want to create friction for someone either. Oh gosh, why don't they have that ceiling height? And now I have to email them. And how do I email them? And oh gosh, I have to call. Here's just sampling of elevations that we have on the site that we would ask of you. Data. So again, comprehensive, fill in the blanks for us. You will upload via the portal. Again, we can help you with pricing. You will have box.com is connected to our portal, so you will upload your assets there. You can again manage your existing, you can manage existing plans. Let's say I don't know, you're in your tab and you thought, oh, I think I might have entered that square footage wrong. Not an issue, go right back in. Again, we'll get notified and we have to approve that change of data before it goes live to the website. Bigger the better, for sure. 1200 pixel wide is the minimum, but if you give us assets in a larger format, then we can crop to what we consider is the ideal format for the website. If you are not conversant in making your own renderings, there are tons and tons of hungry renderers out there for sure. And if you need help with that, we can give you a couple of names as well. In terms of quantity, I'd like to say a dozen is a great start, but in order to be a success story in this business, where nothing is guaranteed, it is a trickle of new plans that is going to help push you out into the world of the website and make you visible. And we've got a new plan section where a plan lives for 90 days. So a great strategy would be to trickle in a new plan once a month. And you would be ever present in that section. Definitely be your best housekeeper and maintain a spreadsheet. We can pull your data, present you with a spreadsheet of what is on the website as well. We can also tell you, we've got trends reports. I can let you know what is selling, in what square footages, what styles, that to help inform you from a design standpoint. And if you are going to do your own modifications, then really monitor them and see if you can connect the dots to what people are asking for. So if there's a plan that you've gotten 3 requests for a different foundation type, then that would probably behoove you to maybe create that foundation type for related plans because there's a desire to see it. Do you retain the rights to your plans? Indeed, 100%. Copyright and the infringement that is rampant in this industry, we take very seriously. We see a ton of shenanigans, so to speak, on social media. We are careful to preserve our reputation without coming out guns a-blazing. But if we see the unscrupulous type, we will certainly alert you, and then you can go after them or not, or keep an eye out. I actually had a call the other day from a designer who filled me in on a couple of Facebook groups, one of which I've joined, keeping an eye out because this particular person is ripping off other designers. And so if I see it, I will be notifying. And it's important, and it's sad, but it's a part of this business. And I think the digital community, it's too easy to steal. To do mods or not to do mods. If I had my way, every designer would do their own modifications. I think there's power in us being able to promote you as the designer making his or her own changes. It also helps with intelligence for you to see what consumers are asking for, and that will help inform design for future. It also will provide you with plans. If you've done mods on one of your plans, monetize it, create a marketing plan, do a new rendering, and push it out to the market through us. Like, you know, as one of these bullet points out, it's inspiration for new designs or reworking old ones. Maybe one of the mods is an HOA is asking for a garage orientation change. Easy enough. Let's make an option out of it. Give us a new marketing plan. That's not a new plan, but it's adding a purchasable option on the website. So it's about being flexible and nimble And those that are the ones that are successful. There are, I pointed out that there are higher conversion rates with designers that manage their mods. That is more gut. I don't have. We're working on enhancement for us to get more granular with data that we can pull out from our system. I will say certain designers who do their own mods, yes, for sure, higher conversion rates. There are some who don't outsource any. Some are more hybrid models, depending on their schedule. They will do them, and then the minute they get inundated, they ask us to outsource. And I'm very proud of that part of our business that we've developed over the last probably 4 or 5 years. We've assembled a roster of third-party agencies, some of whom you may know of because this industry, I'd say, is small, but some you may not know of. And while we can't please every consumer for the most part, I've been very, very happy with that conversion rate. That has gone up a lot, and we have more options. So the more options we have for the customer, the more likely we are going to convert them to a paying customer. Let's say it's a timeline issue, and you are super busy and you say 4 to 5 weeks, and I find someone who can do it at 2 to 3. Well, that's what the customer wants. So you'll get your plan sale. But if you're willing to sort of forfeit that modification for this consumer because you realize you can't meet their timeline, then you've made a sale. And you can get that modified plan back from the third party, take a look at it, and maybe you want to make it another stock plan because, again, you own the right. So this goes back to the beginning of what I said about old plans and us turning them off. You all will have, I would imagine have amassed a large electronic folder of plans you've created over the years. I think you need to sort of look at them with fresh eyes. Are they worthy of today's market? Are they on trend of what your current customer base are looking for? If you do a few changes to them to bring them up to current standards and invest in new renderings, why not? It's worth a shot. But if they're really old, I'd say maybe it's better to just turn on your creativity and come up with new designs, because it's not, it wouldn't be worth your time then to invest in new renderings. Also, too many derivatives of a bestseller is not necessarily a good thing. How many is too many? That's sort of the elephant in the room. Some designers riff off their plans quite a lot. And I think what happens is we will connect or relate plans for the consumer. Let's say the original is 1,500 square feet. A designer's been asked to create a larger version, 2,300 square feet. That's an easy and logical relative to the original. But let's say we get 4, 5, 6, 8, 10 more designs that are, relatives or derivatives. How does one market them effectively without causing confusion to the consumer? So be cautious with that. 3, 4, 5, definitely, because you're appealing to different budgets, different aesthetic minds, etc. But again, in some cases, for some designers, we actually won't load them because we feel like we're spamming our system. Tips for success. Again, back to what I said, high quality you know what you need from us now, but if you're exploring working with us, of course, I only know us, and I'm I'm the COO, so of course I would want you to explore us and no one else. But there are other websites, and you should explore them as well, and look at them with a discriminating eye as you would architectural design. And look at the website. Pretend you're a consumer. Hunt around, click around. Is the website on trend? Is it engaging? Is all the information there as a consumer that you'd want? Is it easily accessible? We are very customer centric, old school, if you will. Treat people like you want to be treated. That is our mantra here. You write us, we write you back. Maybe we have nothing to say other than as an acknowledgement that we got your email. It's sort of, I have an expression of demystifying e-commerce. When you write a website, even in your personal lives, let's say you go to some other website and you're looking for information, you can go into a live chat like you can on a website. We answer you. If you write to our website, maybe you're looking for information that we need to then contact the designer. We'll acknowledge it. Thanks for your email. We'll be back in touch as soon as we hear from the designer. In the meantime, do you have any questions? It's little touches on the consumer like that I think are mission critical to success. Again, treat people like you want to be treated. It's not so hard. And so with that, or by extension, we expect the same from our design partners. Treat us like you would want to be treated. We do everything we can to forge strong, long-lasting partnerships with our designers. John and I go to the Builder Show every year. Many of you go. It's such a wonderful opportunity to connect. Along the way, I've met so many of our design partners. We have visited some of our design partners. We care very much about you, protecting you, selling your plans as we do the consumer. It's a marriage, if you will. Follow trends and refine your process. Again, it's we're out there in the field, but you're really out there in the field. So keep your eyes wide open. Read what you can from a construction standpoint. Go on Pinterest. Go on Instagram. Go on Facebook. Engage with your peers. Join your professional organizations. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook. If you become a designer with us, our one request is to not engage with our community. Watch on the sidelines because we're in charge of that. We've got a dedicated social media manager who not only manages those platforms, she creates our blog posts. She is out there front and center, and she does a bang-up job. So let her do her job and follow along, watching what we do. And keep designing. Please, please, please. That is the way to stay relevant and for us to really be incentivized to market your plans, not only as a plan, but in other areas of the website. We have a trending section. Again, I told you earlier, we've got a new plan section. So just by virtue of the fact that we've uploaded your plan, that plan will appear there for 90 days. We have the blog. We've got all these social avenues. So you showing us your commitment reinforces our commitment to you. And that really is it. That is working with AD. And if anyone has any questions, I don't know if this is the time for that, but you can email me at Kitty, Kitty, at Architectural Designs. Maybe Dennis can post my email there. you can give me a call. I have no qualms with that. Our direct line is 203-761-8500. We're here Monday through Friday. We're in Connecticut, so Eastern Standard Time, 9 to 5. And I look forward to hearing from you, seeing you. And if this is something you're considering, walking you through the process in a more intimate way to make you feel comfortable, because we love what we do. I'd say we're quite good at it. We don't know everything. We're constantly learning ourselves. And that's the key to success. Moving, changing, learning, being flexible, and understanding your consumer, which is something that is ever evolving here. We've got lots of different, we've got lots of things humming in the background to incentivize consumers to purchase through us. And it's working.
All right. Thank you, Kitty. If
Sure.
you could unshare your screen, that would be amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you. All right. I'm going to open the floor up to questions. So if you want to ask a question, unmute. But I've got a couple of questions first to start with that have been coming up while you were talking. So I'm going to start with those first. Some of these may have been answered on the chat, but I'd like to ask the questions just to give Kitty a chance to answer them as well. Krista asked, how many plans do you need up front for the first posting? She knows a few that have required 7, so she was just curious how many you required.
Ideally, between 8 and 10 anchors you to the website. The goal is to make a meaningful presentation. So we hold off, typically 8. Having said that, we have launched designers with 5 or 6 because we know that the next 2, 3, or 4 are right behind. We don't like adding anyone with less than that because, again, it's also, there's an algorithm at play in the website. So it's not to your advantage to be pushed out onto stage with so few. So 8 to 10, 12 would be great, but we would probably, the first push to the website would be 4 to 6. And then that is one thing I actually didn't mention, is that we add plans to the website every day, usually 3 to 4, but there was a day this week, I think we added like 10 because we've been getting a ton of content from our designers. So 8 to 10, 12, somewhere around there.
Okay. Audrey asked, well, let me get back to it. Is there an allowance for unbuilt plans that might not be as structurally complete as no engineer's been involved? Sam kind of answered that, but would like to hear what your company says about plans that have yet to be built. So there's no structure. It might be very, very, very slim structural information on there.
As long as there is, I mean, that is a stock plan. Most of them that are being developed, and Sam could speak to that, Sam's constantly developing plans that haven't been built yet. So it's, we rely on you as the professional to create a plan that can be built. We are not designers here. So you could show me a floor plan. I know what details should be included. Will I be able to point out that the roof isn't, or the second floor isn't lining up with the first? No. So I would ask that in terms of engineering, the plans that we sell are not engineered for a specific location. They have general information. There are parts of the country where there are still very loose, if no building requirements. It's perplexing, really, how that could be, but that makes a stock plan the ideal purchase because the customer doesn't need to take that necessary second step. But if they live in California, or they live in Washington, or they live a coastal community, or really so many parts of the country now, they are required to get a stamp and structurals added. We consider that a part of the building process. And so I would say give some framing information along with disclaimers that say, defer to your licensed engineer. And we see that often. You have to cover yourself. And I know, having reviewed, gosh knows how many plan sets, there are all kinds of disclaimers you all add on your front page that this is not the Holy Grail. This is not what I call a Venus Paradise colored pencil. Pick magenta number 22 and get hammer or whatever. This is for a builder who knows what they're doing. Those that run into trouble that come roaring back to us, and they are so few and far between, are the real rookies in the industry, either builders or customers who are GCing their own homes, who maybe are using YouTube to guide them. I have no idea. And then who are literally torturing our designers, who are calling them nonstop. Well, how do I do this? How do I do that? So I can't, hopefully this doesn't come out wrong. We have a phrase here, you can't fix stupid. I can't fix stupid. So please create a comprehensive set of working drawings that you are proud of, that you've reviewed umpteen times before delivering it. And that's the best you can do. That's it. I mean, Sam really is the one, he is really an ambassador to your industry. And I think you don't need to hear from me. You should have Sam speak to that if he hasn't already, or Dan Sater, who I know is spoken to your group, because we're the marketers for you. We do spell out on the website. We have a what's included that is in Word only, that I'm in the middle of now trying to make a pictorial presentation to supplement it, because we just engineered this to the website. So again, assuming your consumer knows nothing, this is their first rodeo, words are meaningless. What is a cross section? I don't know what that is. So let's show them what a cross section is to supplement those words. But what is more powerful that we added, I don't know, time goes so quickly, I'll say 4 years ago, is a what is not included, because that was assumed knowledge. And people would write us back or call back, well, you didn't tell me that the plan didn't come with engineering. Well, we did tell you, Mrs. Smith, but you chose not to read it. We did tell you there's a terms of purchase that you have to click that tells you, we are so transparent here. We tell you, you call, you ask a question, we answer it honestly. It's to no one's benefit to lie or to try to, mince words. So we have a what is not on every single plan. What is not included? An engineering stamp, an architectural stamp, a site plan. In some cases, for those designers that don't include electrical may not be included. I'm going to read it from the website right now. Mechanical drawings, location of heat and air equipment and ductwork. Your subcontractors will handle this. Plumbing drawings, energy calcs. So it spells out everywhere what is not. And I think that's been beneficial to the consumer. But here's one. Cover sheet, this is what is included in this plan. Cover sheet, general note sheet, foundation sheet, first floor plan, second floor plan, roof framing, all the, front, rear, left and right elevations, openings and sections, foundation details, cornice details, first floor and second floor electrical. That is what I would consider an ideal floor plan for us, for a consumer. It's got everything that they need, with the exception of all those other whatnot.
Okay, thank you. And I guarantee you that Sam is very vocal about what's needed on the plans in our group. So we have that covered. Um, Krista Manna has asked a couple of questions. The first one being, do you have mixed use plans? Retail on the first floor, residential on the second floor, or upper floors? And the reason she's asking is she's a registered architect, so she wants to know if there's a market for those type of plans.
We are residential only.
Okay. And her second question is, are most of your plans based on using wood framing, or does it matter? Because she's had builders ask about metal framing and stuff like that. So I guess to tag onto that is, I would assume that somebody sends you something, they would specify the construction method, metal framing, CMU, solid, whatever it is, they're going to specify it. So it really doesn't matter what the materials are, as long as they're specified on there. This is what we're planning this house through. But
correct. Most plans, it's conventional framing. So it's either going to be 2x4 or 2x6. We have a collection of metal frame plans. Not a terribly large collection, but the one designer who created most of these plans, I encouraged him to add a 2x6 wall option. Again, to broaden the marketability of the plans. And interestingly enough, I think we've sold more 2x6 conversions than we have metal. Metal is tricky. But we sell everything. And we sell, most designers from Florida, it's block on the first floor with wood above. We have one designer who offers a block conversion. In most cases, block conversions are mods. And for those that can do them, great. Otherwise, we have a couple resources that can do the conversion.
Yeah, I know in my area, we don't do a lot of metal. I do a lot of pilings and breakaway walls on first floors, just because of coastal area. But most of ours is wood. Metal is not taking off over here, and neither is like ICF or SIPS panels or anything like that. So I can see where in different areas that would be necessary. One of the things that they're asking, where'd it go? Oh, Trevor asked, the floor plan deliverables that you need. Do you need PDFs, CAD? And he wants to know, do we actually have to do the colorization to your color codes, or you do those?
I'll answer the last question first. So we color all the floor plans, send them to us monochromatically, and we take care of that. There's a rule here. It'll be on my epitaph. It's called the Kitty rule. And it's for plans where the entrance is to the side. And so, consumers are looking like this. So we rotate the floor plan so you are walking in, going south to north. We add dimensions if they're not there. So in terms of your deliverable to us, PDF is fine. We don't need your CAD. We don't have CAD. So it is incredibly helpful if you include this working drawings when you upload the marketing assets. I can assure you it won't go anywhere, but it allows our team maybe to add more dimensions that you haven't. It also, from a customer service standpoint, let's say someone's looking for a dimension of the shower. We can just look at the floor plan. We don't have to bother you. We're not sending out the drawings or, they sit in an electronic folder. So it's one less point of friction. And we're all about removing that friction. And if we do this well, we're really not hammering you with that many questions. We're basically sending you an order to fill. And that's that. That is the ultimate goal, is you are entrusting us with your intellectual property. No, we take that very seriously. It doesn't leave here. Maybe someone's looking, I don't know, maybe that bathroom, the configuration is just a little atypical. We've been known to take a screenshot of it and send it to the consumer. They can't build from it, but it let them figure out the dimensions that way. And again, it's just, it's helpful to have them. So if you're comfortable sending them, well, if you're comfortable working with us, my hope is we'd be comfortable including them, but I leave that to you. It's not a prerequisite to working with us.
Okay. John Coyle asks, out of the 31,000 plus plans that you have, how many are almost identical or the same?
Gosh, I hope none. They're all unique. They better all be unique. I guess I don't really understand the question. I mean, they're all individual plans. Some are related to others, but they're all unique.
I think it comes from being a designer. You know that there's only so many ways that you can design a box or a triangle or a circle. And
so with that, let me interject 1 second, Dennis. Thanks. So if you control F and type in the word when you go on our website, related, there's a landing page for related plans. We have 8,564 plans that are related to others. So, but beyond that, I don't think, if I went through each of them and started moving beads on my abacus, I don't think I'd get to 31,000. There are definitely many unique plans on the website. And it's up to you to create more to add to the website.
Okay.
Can I comment on that, Dennis?
Well, I guess if you have to.
All right.
You haven't said anything yet, so.
Right. Well, I want to hear Kitty. So, no, I would think that a lot of them that are similar are going to be a designer who, like me, goes through at the end of the year and says, okay, what sold well this year? I'm going to create a derivative of that. I do that every year. In January, I'll go through and say, oh, that plan sold 17 times last year. Let me change it just a little bit and send in a new one.
That makes more sense.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So Krista asked another question. I think it's a pretty good one. Would you review the first set of plans before we post it so we can get a good idea what needs to be changed or updated for the rest of the plans? So if we think we've met all your stuff, we send you a set of plans and you look at them, you could tell us, hey, you know what? Yeah, it looks like you did it, but your electrical plan needs some work, or your floor plans need to have more of this or that, or what have you. Or would you be, are you able to do that so that we can adjust our plans to match what you want?
Yes. And I actually recommend that to every designer, every single designer. I mean, that would just be sadistic to actually have you, oh yeah, upload your 10 plans and then us look at them and say, oh, can you now update all those 10 plans? Absolutely. There is, just like in anything new in what we do in life, there's a learning curve, no matter what. And our goal is to iron out whatever kinks there are at the beginning. We've got an amazingly talented content team, and they will review the first submission, give you pointers, tell you what they'd like changed. Either it's usually the marketing floor plan that needs some massaging. And so let's get that one squared away and then keep humming. Absolutely. And that's a great question.
All right. Next question is from Ted. Yeah, he thinks that you already answered this, but I'm going to ask it only so that we have it on here to make sure, because I'm sure we have more than one Canadian designer in our group. He's in Ontario, Canada. His plans need to be converted to the IRC standards, or is Ontario standards okay? That's his first part. The second part is what about BCIN? In Ontario, we require to be licensed under BCIN qualifications, but this is site specific. So can you talk about that a little bit for those of us who maybe, or for those who may be in Canada, or even when homeowners in Canada looking for stuff? I mean, look, I'm in Maryland, so am I going to have to bring my stuff up to maybe Canadian codes, or is there something I should put on there that says, hey, if you're in Canada, you need to contact a qualified BCIN, a BCIN qualified individual to go through these plans? I mean,
So that's a great question. So we have, I'll say 6, although there might be more Canadian designers. And we have a few designers out of Ontario. And one in particular can do the BCIN, the other 2 do not. When an Ontario customer, that's a common question here, actually. They'll call and we tell them that they'll need to find somebody locally to do the engineering for Ontario and to do the stamp. Again, one designer does it. We have some designers out of BC. So Ontario is the only province where this is a thing. You as the Canadian designer, those plans are not, we know they're not to IRC, and that's okay. And we sell them regularly to US-based customers. And we do sell to, I'd say the split is probably maybe 15% we sell to Canada. So the lion's share of our consumers in the 50 states. I've tried once or twice to work with an engineering firm in Ontario to do the BCIN, to try to plug that hole. And it would just never really work out. So we leave it to the consumer. But don't, the person who asked as the Canadian, don't worry that your plans are not to IRC. As long as we know that, we're good. And we sell a lot of plans from our Canadian designers without issue.
great. I want to shout out to Krista Manna right now, because she is asking a lot of really good questions on here, and I just really appreciate that. This next question comes from Krista. A lot of jurisdictions are now switching over to IBC 2021, which has a huge change in energy requirements. Are our values required to be called out on the plans? Now, Sam gave a pretty good explanation of what he does on there, talking about referring to ResCheck and letting the contractor do it, which I would agree with because of the different areas. But how do you guys deal with that in your company to sell them out?
This is the first I've heard of that. And again, if it is relative to local code requirements, it's the consumer's responsibility to ensure that that's a part of their plan set. And if they have to, again, take that step with a local design professional or engineer, then so be it. I've not had, our customer success team reports to me, and I cannot recall one question from a consumer about that. So it's a non-issue as far as I'm concerned.
Okay. I know that I design in all over the country, mobily. And when I say mobile, I don't have a specific office somebody would come to. I'm all 100% online. And I deal with people all the time in different areas, and I don't I won't I won't call out the insulation until I've talked with either the permitting planning zone, or I just put down there that they have to go through this uh with somebody in the area who knows the codes that they're looking for in that area. So
I
I
just
get
saw
that.
I just saw Krista's comment about how it impacts the framing. Um, you know, I like to look at it as one stock plan set, one pre-drawn plan cannot satisfy all requirements. It's not a one size fits all. It's not, you know, a size 8 dress that's going to fit most women, or a size 12 shoe that's going to fit many men. It is sort of a living, breathing product. A plan set is how I look at it, and it's got to be, it has to be modified to your building requirements, and you're still ahead. I mean, one story that I'll tell quickly that has stuck with me for years is we've got a very complicated sort of prairie modern style plan on the website that used to sell all the time, and it was like the it plan. A customer bought it, a Californian bought the CAD probably like 7 years ago, I want to say 8 years ago. And he sent me photos, and he did an incredible job. And he actually worked with a local person and added like a extra 3-car garage. He was a car enthusiast, and he just blew it up. And he said, you know, I paid whatever it was. Let's say it was $6,000 for the CAD, or maybe no, let's say it was $3,000 for the CAD, and he spent like another 6 or 7 to get the mods done and the engineering. And he said, I was so far ahead of the game. If I had had a local person draw this, it would have cost me like $45,000. So that really is sort of the, you know, you're buying a plan for the most part. The average price, you know, the average price is around $1,200, let's say, for a plan. Even if you have to have changes made for local jurisdiction, you are still ahead of the game. And I don't, consumers that nickel and dime and whine, you know what? Go work with somebody locally then, because I wish we can't fire our customers, but in some cases, you know, they should be savvy. They should be cost conscious, but they have to understand what they're buying at the outset.
Great answer. All right, so Larry Folk asks, what do designers get money-wise when they sell a set of plans? So, can you talk to them a little bit about that? What kind of a royalty amount do they get for when the plans get sold?
Hi to Larry Folk, who actually I wrote yesterday, I think. I haven't heard back from you, Larry. It's a sliding scale. It's anywhere from around 35% to 50%, depending on how we market your plan. 35% to you, 65% for us, or 50-50, and anything in between there. That's sort of the skinny on that.
Great. Audrey says, this sure answers a lot of questions. It's been a struggle trying to figure out what to provide since there's so many variables, and I want the drawings to be specific and complete. And I think that's a lot of us. And are soft plan CAD files okay? We just got a question in wanting to know about soft plan CAD files. I think CAD files would be anything that can be read by AutoCAD as this industry standard. Wouldn't that be correct?
That is correct. I do know that when it comes to importing into AutoCAD, thank you, Larry. I think that the import is very messy, from my understanding. So if you work it, but we have a whole host of designers that work in SoftPlan too, and we sell their CAD files, and no one typically is coming back complaining. So I don't know, not being a CAD technician myself, not running any of these programs, I don't know the nuances of any of them to provide really great feedback. I don't think if you work in SoftPlan, you need to now go invest in AutoCAD and start working in it. As long as we can convert, or you can convert to DWG before filling an order, then we're good.
Actually, yeah, SoftPlan does that very easily. And a lot of people have even mentioned that on the thing. SoftPlan has a great way of doing it into SketchUp. I mean, there's a few areas that it can do it in, but if you can put it into AutoCAD, almost every program can read a DWG file to bring it up. The one of the other ones, Krista asks another question about do you have a market for age in place ready plans? Which is great. I know I'm dealing with several of those right now.
So yes, I mean, we have, you're talking about like multi-generational, that kind of a plan. I'm assuming, so where there's like a in-law suite, if you will, and a separate door, or they have their own residence.
I think also it includes a set of plans that are designed for someone to be able to go from, say, their 50s to their 70s, where the doors would be like 3 foot. Everything is spaced out accordingly. Your bathrooms are laid out with maybe things like no transition showers and just areas like that where you can put in some of these requirements that people get when they become older and maybe less mobile, maybe harder to do. Those sometimes are very specific to the individual at times, but it can also be if people are thinking that way ahead of time, it seems to help a lot of the individuals. There's a lot of people in the 50 and up range who are building houses. So
we do actually, I'm trying to find her plans. We have one designer who feel like that is we have a special feature called handicapped accessible. And so her plans allow for those wider doorways. Pardon me. So yeah, we have the ability to market that type of a plan. Truthfully, because of the consistent investment in our website, I could create the most nonsensical special feature, a collection, a what have you. We have the most nimble management system known to man for this business, and it serves us well. We can create different landing pages, different collections, but at the same time, obviously, there has to be a legitimate number of plans. We don't just create for creating's sake. We can actually create a collection sort of behind the curtain, if you will, and then launch it to the website. So let's say we're brainstorming and we see a need. It takes us a while to try to tag those plans. And so we can run a script through our engineer to try to identify them and then pull them together. So to that question, yes. And I think that's an important designation. And to your point, we're not getting any younger. And so there is definitely a movement in our country to age in our homes. I think to bring parents to live with us. And so I think to express it at the design level is important. And we would want to market those plans.
Great. Ted Loxon asks, specifically about Matterport 3D. He's got some great visualizations that the customer can control. Is there a place for those on your site if somebody has those?
We have video. We can upload a video. Matterport, I mean, I don't think it's that easy to navigate on our website. If you hold 1 minute, I will ask our content manager. Hang on one
Sure.
second, I'll ask him.
While she's doing that, I want to thank everybody for coming. This has been great. I think that these questions have been amazing. They fill in so many little holes that that may have been there. I really appreciate some of them. And also, we're going to make sure that this video is going to go up next week so that you can come back and look at it. Go ahead, Kitty.
No to Matterport.
Okay. So I don't know if it's possible, Ted, for you to take Matterport and turn it into a video that you've controlled to show things. Maybe that would be the better way. I'm not positive how that works. So, and he said video is okay. You can make that work too. So you do allow for videos though. So if somebody
Yes,
did,
I mean, fly around,
Mhm.
exteriors, into the interior. Yes, those are easily uploaded.
Okay.
Matterport is just will not work.
Okay. Audrey asks if there's any calls for zero energy homes. She's done a lot of energy efficient builds, some with double walls. Do I need to convert to standard single walls?
So, I mean, hats off to you that you've got a customer base that wants those, Audrey. I wish there was more of a movement nationwide. We have an energy efficient collection. There's one designer in particular, that is his mission. It's tricky. I think it would be worth doing an experiment to see. It also depends on the style. So I never know why. I don't know if it's the energy efficient that is the negative, which seems ridiculous, or the lack of understanding of what that means, building a home that way. I don't know. I think we should talk about that, Audrey, offline at whenever you are up for that.
And say it, your email is Kitty.
KITTY
Yep.
at
Yep.
architecturaldesigns.com.
Oops. Designs as in with an
Yes,
S.
plural.
Okay. I might have done this wrong the first time. Sorry. I just put it back in the chat a second time just to make sure that you had it.
That's correct.
Especially if you're going to get in touch with Audrey and Audrey wants to get in touch with you. I want to make sure everybody's got the ability. One of my last, well, oh, so Tim Hill has asked, he has I'm trying to see how I can say this without reading the whole thing, but I think I'm going to have to read it. Main difference I see with stock plans is selling a product versus service. Without the service element, there seems to be more risk to the client and often the pro. Do you have ways you explain the difference in conversion with potential clients, or is that handled mostly in the contract language? And I think what he's asking is do I have to make sure my contract says it, or does when they look on your site, do they understand it from there? You kind of spoke to this earlier with what's included, what's not included. But the service aspect of it, when we get a set of plans, when I send a set of plans to you and then somebody wants it and it's sent out, is that is when they get those, is there a contract with us that they get to build those plans? Are we a
Yeah,
part of that at that point?
you would, I would encourage you, just like you have a contract with your custom clients. We've got a few templates I would, that we would distribute to you, or you could edit your existing contract. It's a license agreement, and it says what you can or cannot do with that plan. That if it is a single building license, you have the rights to build one structure. You may not sell that plan to someone else. That license was issued to you. You can make changes to it, but you as a designer are not accountable for the integrity of the structure if you haven't done the changes. It's quite an ironclad form, and they sign off on it, and you have it. And once they sign that and you deliver the plan, that is where your responsibility ends, with an asterisk.
So this
Let's
is not,
say someone, if someone's got a question, back to the treating people as if you'd want to be treated kindly or unkindly. If someone has a question, they typically come back to us because we're the point of purchase. And we
okay.
may still liaise for that client
Mhm.
and contact you and say, they have a question about the XYZ. And I would say that we work with some lovely humans. And in most cases, the designer will say, let me just give them a quick call, because I can just deal with this right away. And it's so simple. Don't worry about it.
Right.
But again, like your obligation, it is you're entrusting us with your intellectual property to market it as best we can, under the proviso that we are being transparent with the consumer about what they're getting, what they're not getting, and answering openly and honestly. But again, it is perplexing how many people buy a plan online, which to me is a very complicated purchase, without there's no touch. They haven't live chatted. They haven't emailed. They haven't submitted a mod. They haven't ordered a cost to build report. They've done nothing other than go to the website and buy. How do you do that? I don't know. If you're a builder, I can understand that. But, those that come back to us are few and far between. And when they do, it's because they made assumptions before the purchase, and they did not read the plethora of information on our website. I can't force you to read it. We have intentionally actually stripped off so much information to try. We redid our FAQ. And you're looking at the person who, it was like pulling teeth, having to just really synthesize it into the most readable way possible, so people read it or call us. But I feel like your responsibility just ends, and really so does ours. And if there wasn't a reputation and the internet, well, we wouldn't have a business if there was no internet. But if there was nothing called social media, then maybe we would, I don't know, we're too nice. But we're all running scared a little bit. And I'm sure you guys are as well. Oh my gosh, all it takes is like one terrible, scathing review, and my business could potentially implode. We have actually shopper approved on our website as a review system. And we're proud. We've gotten over 1,200 now, I think, reviews. We added it a couple months ago. And we added it because it's important for consumers to see how we're doing. And yeah, have we gotten a few 1-star reviews, 2-star reviews? We have. But if you read them, the customer is almost like self-chastising, like, oh gosh, I should have read or whatever. I can't quite figure out what the point of it is. But again, like I've probably deviated off the question, but you need
okay.
us, we need you. And let's hold our hands, you know, virtually together to get the customer over the goal line, to give them the best information and the best set of plans you possibly can. At that point, I really think that our responsibility ends.
Yeah. So yeah, I think you're right. John asked a question that probably all of us have thought, and I don't think I've ever actually heard anybody ask, is what is the typical refund policy? So if somebody buys it, is there a refund policy?
Well, if you go to our checkout and pretend, you'll have to acknowledge the terms of purchase, which I jumped up and down with. We probably added that about 5 years ago. I told John Davis, who owned AD, I said, we have to have, if everyone knows what a CYA is, then we need a CYA. It's not my problem that you didn't ask a question. So read these two statements about building code and engineering, and then read the important note that is in a much larger font that says important, all planned sales final, no refunds, period, no exchanges. And we occasionally will get a chargeback from a consumer. Some are fraudulent transactions. That's another bizarro one where people are stealing credit cards and buying house plans. We're quite good at sniffing them out before an order is even sent to a designer. But for the customers who call back and have buyer's remorse, that would be a no. There are rare cases where you might hear from us. Maybe it's someone who is having mods done and you haven't sent them anything. And the property they were planning on purchasing fell through. And now they don't need the plan. And they haven't gotten the plan. So we might ask you, you know, are you cool with doing a refund? Because we're losing money too. But that customer will more than likely come back when they get their property. And maybe they might not buy that plan, but they'll buy a plan. Hopefully that same plan. You know, we have hearts. Sometimes, you know, stuff happens in life. So I remember being on the phone with someone and the guy lost a job. I mean, I'm not coming back to you for that, asking you to forfeit your commission. I'm just, in some cases, we will refund our portion and pay you. So there's stuff that goes on here that you don't need to know. That, and sometimes I will authorize a refund because they have been such a pain in the butt. And I know they're going to go to social. So just go away, take your money, go away. It is the cost of doing business. And they are so rare, but if you become a success story, you know, that's the unintended consequence of success. We sell a lot of your plans. Pardon me. There's a possibility we may come slithering back to you and say, oh, Dennis, you know, Mr. Smith, and, you know, blah, blah, blah. And you have a heart too. And maybe we get them to sign we've rescinded your license letter, and under no circumstances can you build, and let them know that we're watching you. And they really appreciate it. And guess what? Maybe we've created another ambassador for you and for us. And they say, gosh, you know, I bought a plan through Architectural Designs, and the designer was this guy, Dennis Fletcher. And, you know, we had an issue and whatever, and he was super kind. And look at his portfolio. you know, this is what, this is life, right?
Yep.
But again, minuscule number.
Great. So I'm going to ask the last question. This is from Audrey, and this is about disclaimers that we put on our plans. She says, should these disclaimers be on each sheet or just on the license agreement? So I think she's talking about the disclaimers that are on the license agreement when they purchase. Should we also have those on our sheets?
I would imagine you already have a disclaimer based on to your cover sheet, don't you? All kinds of,
I do.
I don't think I can't recall a plan set where I haven't seen annotations that sort of are a condensed version of what I'm talking about. I don't think you need to go into every page. I think the cover sheet will cover it, that it's really up to the person who's building the home to review the plan set carefully to make sure everything looks as it should. That license agreement is supplemental to the plan set, but no need to then carry all that, you know, to migrate that information onto the plan. But it is absolutely imperative to have a license agreement.
Sorry, I'm typing a reply.
Sure.
So, we have most everybody now is just chatting about the disclaimers, but I want to I think we're at an hour and a half now, so I'm gonna go ahead and say that we're probably at the end, and if we get enough if we get more questions throughout the next month, I might contact you and see if you want to do something else to talk about those specific questions if they're different, or I'll just have them email you and talk with you. But I think at this point, it's time to come off. I know a lot of us are busy. I know you're busy, so I want to thank everybody for showing up. We have had several people come on and off during this time. And we have several people here, and this will be recorded, put on the group for everybody to see. One last thing that I just thought of, Katie, just real quick. When we send you our plans, when somebody purchases it, do you have a file that they get automatically? Is it like a automatic download, or is this something they purchase it, then it comes to us and we send it to them?
That it is the latter.
Okay.
We take the order. We can forward the license agreement also to the customer. We have a mechanized system. We can handle that for you. Attach that electronically to the order and forward you the order, and you fill it. And then you notify us that the order has been fulfilled.
Great. Sounds good. Okay. So with that said, I'm going to go ahead and end this and tell everybody goodbye. Kitty and Sam, thank you very much for setting this up. Thank you for getting this all. If there's any other questions, please feel free to go on the group and ask there. And once this comes up, let me know what you think then, and let us know what you think about these episodes. And thank you very much, Kitty.
Thanks for the opportunity. Appreciate it.
No problem. Everybody have a wonderful rest of the day. It's Friday, and we're almost to 4th of July. So everybody have fun. Enjoy.
Indeed. Take care.
Take care. Goodbye.